Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. That feels really weird to say and I am cringing, but here we are. I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I'm always showing you guys Winnie and talking about Winnie, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about myself and open up about me. I actually wanted to, in this video, to talk about my birthing experience because I had a really positive birth, and I think there's so many terrible and horrific stories out there that put women off having children, purely sometimes just because of the birth story. And like, a lot of people don't want kids anyway, but I don't think we hear enough about like the positive stories, even though I feel awful. Like, some of my friends and people I know have had really bad birth experiences, which unfortunately is quite common, so it's good to kind of normalize that as well. But there are also nice births, so let's get into it. So basically, I was due on the 19th of May, which is a Monday. Had no signs, had no cramping, no Braxton Hicks, so I just felt like I was going to be that person that was going to be overdue for 2 weeks. So because I had no signs, my midwife booked me in for the Tuesday, which was then the 20th of May, for stretch and sweep. Now, if you don't know what a stretch and sweep is, it's where basically the midwife puts her hand up your vagina, stimulates your cervix, and a lot of the time when you're past your due date, you're usually already quite dilated. So if your cervix is already like a centimetre or two dilated, they can put their finger past the cervix, kind of where the baby's head is. Obviously they can't feel the baby's head, but that's where it is, to stimulate the cervix, and that can send you into labour a lot of the time. So anyway, I go for this appointment the day after my due date, and she does it and she's like, babes, you're literally not dilated at all. Like, I couldn't even get my finger past your cervix. And this was like at 11:30 in the morning, and I went home and I just felt so upset. At this point I was just so over being pregnant. Like, I found pregnancy really hard. I just didn't feel like myself. I lost myself. I try and go out and do stuff, but I was hating it at this point. Like, I literally was depressed, crying all the time. I just couldn't wait for this to be over and meet my baby. So I remember going home after this and feeling so down and crying because I thought, I'm going to be that person that is overdue by 2 weeks. And like, just the thought, I couldn't grasp the thought of another 2 weeks being pregnant, because when you're struggling in pregnancy, a day, even just a day, feels like eternity. I was finding it really hard. Anyway, that whole day after I had the stretch and sweep, I had like a bit of cramping, just every so often, a little bit of cramping. Didn't think anything of it because it was so mild, like barely even noticeable. And the woman did say that did my stretch and sweep that I could get a little bit of cramping, and that's normal. But she actually booked me in for another stretch and sweep because there was no progress after that one, essentially. However, that night I go to bed, and at 3 AM I wake up and I've got period cramps. And I thought, that's weird. And it was quite painful, I'd say, but it wasn't like anything I felt before, but the pain was enough to wake me up. So anyway, because I'm pregnant and I need to wee every 3 seconds, I go to the bathroom to have a wee, and there is loads of blood everywhere. And I panicked and I called the midwife. I called the MAU, which is like the I don't know what it stands for, like maternity something, but it's for emergencies essentially when you're pregnant. And they were like, yeah, like, come in now. Like, if there's blood, like that much blood, that's not normal, come in. But then I remembered the lady that did my stretch and sweep said to me, if like you can get a bit of spotting, that's normal. And guys, I was exhausted. Like, it was 3 AM, I was in pain, and I just thought, I'm just gonna go back to sleep because it can't, I don't know, I was half asleep and I wasn't in my right mind, I think. So I fell back asleep, and then I wake up again at 6 AM and the pain's more intense, but still like a period cramp, like nothing I've not felt before. And I go back to the toilet again and there's more blood, and then that's when I was like, shit, like, Will, get your shit, we need to go to the hospital, because I was actually worried there was something wrong with the baby. So anyway, at 6 AM we get there and they're like, where have you been, because we've been waiting for you since 3. And I didn't realise they made it, of course they would, but I didn't realise they would have made a note of like the fact that I called them. So they were like, is it Georgia? And I was like, yeah. Anyway, they do another check and they're like, yeah, there's a lot of blood at the back of your cervix, and we don't know whether it's because of the stretch and sweep, but if you weren't dilated, it shouldn't have been the stretch and sweep that's caused it. So they didn't know. I had loads of people examining me and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then they basically said to me, listen, we'd like to offer you an induction because of the blood. So at this point, this is now rolled over to Wednesday, because I had, if you remember, I had the stretch and sweep on Tuesday. Whole of Tuesday I thought nothing had happened. Wake up Wednesday morning with pains, and that's when I went to the hospital Wednesday morning. But they say to me then, we don't have time for the induction until Friday, but we'll keep you in for 24 hours to check you over because of the blood, and then if it's all good, you can go home tomorrow morning and come back on Friday. Which I just accepted it at this point, and I thought, do you know what, like, I'm just going to accept the induction. I didn't really want one because I know you don't have to have one, but I just thought, the thought of having my baby sooner rather than later, like, I was just so over being pregnant, I just accepted that. Anyway, I'm in hospital with Will. I had to stay for 24 hours. He obviously stayed with me the whole day. We were bored because there was nothing to do, and we didn't actually bring, like, we bought a change of clothes for me, but we didn't bring like the baby stuff because I didn't think I was in labour. During the whole day, this pain got like progressively more painful, but still nothing I've not felt before. Like, it was still just like a strong period cramp. Towards that evening, because obviously they're keeping me in for 24 hours, towards that same night, they're telling me that they think I might be in early labour, but they weren't sure, and they were being really vague about it. They were like, yeah, like, we don't really know, it's hard to tell, like, your waters haven't broken yet, haven't lost my mucus plug. So and if you don't know what a mucus plug, Google it, because it's the grossest thing you'll ever see. It's like a mixture of snot, blood, and it's what protects the baby, and it's like in between your cervix, somewhere around your cervix inside, and like when that comes out, it means things are like progressing. But yeah, that hadn't happened, so they didn't think I was in labour or early labour. That whole day went by and no one was telling me I was in early labour or nothing, and I was allowed to discharge myself if I wanted to. So because I didn't think I was in labour, I felt really bad for Will because he had to cancel all his appointments that day, and like, he's self-employed because he's a barber, and he's like just kind of started picking up a client base. So the fact that we were there all day for nothing, essentially, because I just had like these mild period cramps, I felt really sorry for him. So I said to him, listen, I'll stay here the night, and then I'll come home tomorrow morning because they don't think I'm in early labour anyway. And I gave him the okay to do this, but he fitted in a client that evening. So he left me to go and do this client, and that moment where he left, he was gone at this point, the pain was ramping up. Like, I was actually in a lot of pain now. Like, it wasn't just pain, like at this point I was getting like this pressure from inside, like pushing, and I was in agony. Like, every, I'd say, contraction, I was on my tippy toes, like I was mooing like a cow, like softly, but I was mooing. And I thought, surely this is labour. Like, why is no one telling me I'm in labour? Like, what is going on? And I wanted to go home. So I said to the midwife, I was like, listen, like, there's no point me being here if I'm not even dilated yet, because I think they did check me and they were like, you're not dilated. I'm not in labour. Like, let me just go home and I'll deal with this pain at home. And she looked at me and she goes, where's your partner? And I said, well, he's gone to do an appointment. Why? She's like, I'd get him to come back because I think you are like in early labour and you can go from early labour to labour really quickly. Like, why is he not here? So then obviously, because the pain's ramping up at this point, I'm getting frustrated because then I start thinking, where the fuck is Will? Like, why is he not here even though I told him to go? Like, why is he not here with me? I'm by myself and I'm gripping the walls, I'm gripping the bed, I'm mooing. Like, it's just getting so painful by the minute. But like, I know they say you forget about the pain, and you really do. Like, I feel like I could do all of that again, seriously, even though in the moment I was not enjoying it. So I'm like messaging him like, get down here now, like, where are you, come back. I'm just messaging him like, get here quickly, as quickly as possible. So he comes in and he's like, wow, you're in pain now. And I was like, yeah, I'm in pain. And they let him stay the night with me because there was like a spare room. Usually they don't let you in England share a room on the ward, which is kind of sad. They only let you do that if you've given birth into a birthing centre, because I gave birth at the hospital, that was unusual that they let him stay the night. So he's asleep all night. I was literally walking up and down, like they were giving me codeine, paracetamol, then codeine again, paracetamol, and nothing was hitting, like nothing was taking the edge off at all. And I think around probably 5 or 6 a.m. I lost my mucus plug, and that again is the most gross thing I've ever seen. An hour after that, Winnie, talking about us in labour. An hour after that, my waters broke a little bit. Like it wasn't much. It was just like a little bit. So they couldn't really like send me. She's so funny. She's so funny. Oi! Mummy's trying to tell a story. It was like, I hear so many different experiences when people like break their waters. Sometimes it happens before the contractions, like sometimes it happens like during labour. I don't know. I just had like a little bit come out and that was it. I don't know why. So anyway, they were like, yeah, like let's just keep you here now, basically. So I wasn't allowed to go home because they said to me, okay, we think you're actually like in early labour now. I was like, oh, thanks for telling me. So yeah, it gets to the next morning essentially, and it's probably like 11 a.m. now, and I'm throwing up. I know I said this was a positive experience, but trust me, it is. Like, realistically, when I hear other people's stories, like, this is way easier than what other people have been through. But I was like throwing up, and like, to be fair, all the midwives are so nice. Like, all the midwives I had through the whole time I was there were absolutely lovely, and like nothing was too much to ask for. Just such lovely, warming people. Like, every time I had a new midwife come on shift, they were just so nice. And a lot of people say usually midwives at the hospital aren't great, but I just was so grateful for all these ladies that were working like the whole time I was there. I can't complain. So it gets to 11 and I am literally, like, the contractions are so painful now, I can't talk. I'm literally mooing. I'm bent over the bed, like, it's just agony. It makes me actually quite emotional talking about it, because like it was so painful, and like my partner was so good throughout the whole thing, and everyone was so nice. Like, it's just, you just feel this, I don't know, it's just magical. It's just magical what your body can do. I'm like getting all red because it's a bit emotional. But yeah, I think one of the midwives was like, I need to check if you're dilated now, because I think you might have been labour. So she checked and I was 4 centimetres dilated. She was like, we need to get you to the birthing suite, basically. So they wheel me down on a wheelchair. I couldn't sit on it because the pressure from the baby's head pushing inside me was a lot against my like bottom area of my body, that it hurt too much to sit on, because you've got this pressure. What? There's this pressure inside you. It hurts to sit down because it's the force is crazy. So then I was kind of like kneeled on this chair, and they wheeled me down to the birthing suite, and that's where I had 2 new midwives, and they were so lovely. So nice. And she checked, like, again, the pain at this point is ramping up quick. The gas in her air isn't helping, and I really wanted to do it without pain relief. I know you don't get that. There's a bit of a touchy subject about this. Like, a lot of people say you don't get an award for doing it without an epidural, right? Which is true. Like, if the pain relief's there, take it. Like, you wouldn't get a tooth pulled out without pain relief, so why give birth without pain relief? But I don't know, I just wanted to experience that, I guess. And like, really, I'm a bit weird like that, but I really wanted to experience controlling my body and getting through that without the pain relief. But I was so tired because I hadn't slept because of the contractions during the night before in the hospital, and I was exhausted. Like, my eyes were closing, and the pain with the tiredness, I just felt like I just wanted someone to put me out of my misery. I literally wanted someone to put me out of my misery. I just wanted to sleep, and this pain that kept coming and going, like, it was knackering. And I looked at Will and I said, babe, I literally don't think I can do it. Like, I'm just so tired. And I was kneeling down on the floor with this gas and air. Like, it was just so dramatic. And Will was like, don't do it for me. Like, if you want the gas and air, and if you want the epidural, like, do it. And I looked at the midwife and I was like, give me the epidural. And she said to me, well, let's check how dilated you are first, because if you're close to 10, there's no point, right? I was like, okay. So she checks me and she's like, well, you're 7 centimeters. And I was like, that's good. I looked at her, but she kind of said it and then looked at me like that. And I was like, well, surely that's a good thing, because it means I've only got 3 centimeters to go, so I can maybe do it. And she said to me, well, the issue is you're 7, but you could actually be in labour for another 12 hours to get to 10 before you can push. And the thing is, once you get to 8 centimetres, we can't offer you the epidural anymore. And so basically what she was trying to say is, it's now or never. Like, you have the epidural now, or we can't give it to you once you get to 8. And I thought, the thought of that for another 12 hours, absolutely not. So I went for the epidural. Oh my god, what I forgot to say is that night, the night I had to stay over because I didn't know whether I was in early labour or not, I thought, how can it get any more painful than this? And I said to the midwife, I was like, how can it get more painful than this? And she was like, it will. Kind of like, oh, bless you. Okay. She just needed a nappy change. But yeah, I remember asking the midwife during that night, like, how can it get more painful? Because at this point I was already on my tippy toes because of the pain and like mooing. She was like, oh, it will. And it really did. So anyway, I ended up asking for the epidural, and I was so out of it at this point. Like, I had so much codeine and paracetamol and like the gas and air that I didn't know what planet I was on. Apparently I had to sign a waiver to accept the risks of the epidural. I swear to my life, I don't remember signing that. Will was like, yeah, you signed it. I do not remember signing that. Like, I was off my nut. And as soon as they put that epidural in, it was like a bliss. I couldn't feel anything. I literally couldn't feel anything. And it didn't hurt to go in, because they spray your back with a numbing spray first, then they put an injection in, so that, but the numbing spray counteracted the injection, so I didn't feel the injection, and the injection is another numbing process, so that when they put the big needle in, you don't feel a thing. So essentially I felt nothing, so that was great. And then I slept for 12 hours. I slept for ages. I remember waking up every now and then like that and waking myself up. But yeah, I slept. I can't explain how tired I was so tired. So anyway, then I woke up and they were like, your waters still haven't broke. Like, what the hell? So they went to do another cervix check, but as they were checking my cervix at the end, I think they by mistake popped my waters. Like, she said something like they were bulging, whatever that means. And yeah, so then my waters broke, and then once I was 10 centimeters dilated, they do this thing here that when you've had an epidural, because you can't feel anything, once you're 10 centimeters dilated, they'll make you wait 1 hour, 1 whole hour, so that the head drops even lower. I don't think they'd usually do this without pain relief, because you'd be in too much pain, but because I couldn't feel anything, I was like, whatever, yeah. So after an hour, so I was 10 centimeters dilated, then I waited an hour, and then after an hour they checked and they were like, oh my god, the head is there, the head is there, we need to start pushing. So this, oh my god, Will said something that, you know when they say partners say weird stuff when you're in labour, I could have killed him, like honestly, I was so embarrassed. So me and Will to this point hadn't really like pooed in front of each other. I know this sounds really funny, but we hadn't. And I was really scared that he was like, you know when you give birth you can shit yourself. I was so scared I was gonna shit on the bed in front of him, and I would have been mortified. Like I know your dignity goes out the window anyway, and you don't care when you're giving birth. And at that point, I honestly, if I did shit myself, I wouldn't have cared. Like I had so many people look at my vagina at this point that I literally wouldn't have cared. But leading up to the birth, during my pregnancy, I'd really warned Will about the fact that I might shit myself. So I think in his head, when it got to pushing, all he was thinking about was like, oh my god, she might shit herself. I don't know. So because I couldn't feel anything, they were trying to get me to position one leg flat out on the bed, right, and one leg on a stilt. So I was sideways like this with my legs like that. I don't know if they do that because I had an epidural, if it's like a new technique, I don't know, but that's how they were getting me to position. And obviously where I'm led on the bed, they wanted my bum as close as possible to the edge of the bed, so that when the baby comes out, the baby comes onto the bed, right, and it doesn't fall off, because it's all slippery and slidey, like you don't know what could happen. And Will goes to them, what are you doing, like that, and I'm there like I want to push this baby out, like I just want it to be over and done now because I've been in labour for so long. And he's like, what are you doing? And I just looked at him like, what the fuck is he about to say? And they're like, oh well, we're getting her into the birthing position so we can start pushing. Do you know what he says? He goes, oh but surely if she poos now, or shits, I don't know what terminology he said, knowing Will he would have said shits, but if she shits now, it's going to go all over the bed and onto the floor. Like, that's what he was worried about, my shit going on the floor. Like, I literally, and the midwives were quite young, and they both looked at me like, did he just, like, they gave me a look like, did he just say that? And I literally looked at him, and I went, I can't remember what I said. I said something like, Will, they are the professionals, let them do their job. And he just didn't say anything back. And I honestly, the amount of things I said to that poor bloke during the labour, but he dealt with it very well. And yeah, so then when it came to pushing, I literally pushed that baby out in 15 minutes. I did 3 rounds of pushes, but because obviously they made me wait an hour while I was 10 centimeters dilated, I pushed that baby out like no tomorrow. Like the baby basically came flying out and gave me a high five on the way out. Like honestly, it was so quick. And when I gave birth, I tore a little bit. So I had a 2-degree tear at the bottom, and a slight laceration at the top. But again, I didn't feel anything. They had to sew me up. I didn't feel anything because I had the epidural, and I had to have a catheter. That wasn't great. But again, you're so in love with your baby and stuff, like you don't actually care about anything else. Like anything else that happens after that, you just do not care. Like honestly, I was in dreamland. Unfortunately, I did give birth quite late at night. So in England, you're not allowed to stay the night, as I was telling you earlier. So Will had to go home, which was really sad. But I was so tired, and like I did fall asleep. And I kept waking up like every half an hour to check when he was okay. I was just scared. Like they swaddled her with a blanket, and I just kept like going to sleep and thinking the blanket was going to go over her face. I don't know, like, do you know when you get intrusive thoughts? And I was just really panicking. So I kept waking up like, oh my god, is she okay? And she was fine. And then I got to leave the next day. We've been amazing since. It's been amazing. And like the whole birth, like even though it was so painful, I just, like, it's just amazing what your body can do. Even with the stitches, like there were moments afterwards when you want to have a poo when you've got stitches, like it literally, A, it's scary, B, it hurts, like everything hurts afterwards, but you're so in love with your baby that it just doesn't matter. Like honestly, I could do all of that again. I could definitely do all of that again. the pain, put me through that pain again if I had to do it all over again. Like, I was actually really excited to go into labour because I really wanted to feel like what a real contraction felt like, which might sound weird, but like, I just love putting my body to a test. I got to the most pain I could put myself through, and then I had the pain relief, and honestly, best decision I ever made. But yeah, it was magical. If it wasn't for all of that, I wouldn't have this little cute Baba. I absolutely love this little girl. So small. She was so small, and now she's this little person. She smiles. She probably won't smile now because she's been really grumpy. But it's just amazing. I never thought I'd want... She just burped. Did you hear that? I never thought I wanted to be a mother at one point. Like, I actually didn't want kids. Then I got pregnant, and it's just changed my life. Like, it just absolutely changed my life for the better. Like, I can't believe this little baby is like half my DNA and half my partner's. Like, we love her so much. Yeah. Right, say bye, Winnie. Video cut off. You gonna say bye? You grumpy lady. Yeah, okay. Bye, guys. I probably should say subscribe and like the video. Is that what other YouTubers say? Okay.